Hey, everybody. I hope and pray that you're doing well today. So we come to our word from the word. And today that word is consultation. Consultation. Now, you saw that picture up there that said psychic. And there's so many people. If you kind of research a little bit just to see how many people actually look at their horoscopes weekly, I think it's something like 10 or 11% of Americans that look at it that often, once a week. And this is how they're planning their week. Yeah, you get about half of the country doesn't look at it, but the rest of them are looking at it at least at some point, it seems like. You get some 70 million people that start looking at it and really paying close attention to it. Now, some you may say, okay, well, yeah, I look at it just for fun. Well, what's the point in looking at it something like that? Right? And I mean, it's not, I can tell you just the same. When I was a teenager, right? You see it in the paper and you get interested and start looking at it and just saying, like, well, what is this? What is it really showing me? Okay, well, I might have a bad day towards the end of the week or towards the beginning of the week. Yeah, that's called Monday. Or that's called, something close to a busy weekend or trying to make plans. Or, sometimes they're so generic, it could be true for anybody. And we will find ourselves believing these lies so quickly. But I encourage you as a believer, don't fool with it, don't mess with it. Understand that everything that the Old Testament, as you see in the Old Testament, always talking about in New Testament, as well as we see the different people, the magicians. You go to the book of Acts, you can kind of see that who thought he could, Simon, who thought he could buy his salvation essentially. But as you look through, you'll see astrologers and magicians and all of these that are really dabbling in the occult, dabbling in just really demonic powers overall. I'll just kind of lump them all into one thing. But now, here's the thing, the reason that we're even talking about that this morning, this afternoon, this evening, whenever you look at it, the only reason we're looking at that today is because Babylon was going to fall. And as we see in Isaiah chapter 47, God is saying, look, yeah, you were victorious, but you're only victorious because my people had disobeyed me. And you were a tool in my hand to use, a tool of discipline for them. He says, but that time has come to an end. Babylon had gotten prideful and thinking that they were in control and they were more powerful than they actually were. But God gives them a warning through Isaiah and he tells them, look, all these things you've been doing, go ahead, you can run on back to them, but they're not going to help you. One of those things you'll see is something like this. They were going in for consultations to find out from every power they could exactly what they needed to do. Well, here's what God says. Isaiah chapter 47, looking at verses 12 through 15 today. He says, stand now with your enchantments and the multitude of your sorceries in which you have labored from your youth. Perhaps you will be able to profit. Perhaps you will prevail. You are wearied in the multitude of your counsels. Let now the astrologers, the stargazers, and the monthly prognosticators stand up and save you from what shall come upon you. Behold, they shall be as stubble. The fire shall burn them. They shall not deliver themselves from the power of the flame. It shall not be a coal to be warmed by, nor a fire to sit before. Thus shall they be to you with whom you have labored, your merchants from your youth. They shall wander each one to his quarter. No one shall save you. You think about it, for all the psychics and all the stargazers and all the prognosticators and all these that he's talking about, you think about how many of them have uh, how many of them have died, come back to life? None of them, right? You take Jesus, came and died and was brought back to life. That God raised him from the dead. Now you think about that, you say, yes, okay, well, there's other people, man, they had near death experiences and they died on the table and they were brought back. Okay. And they may still be alive now, but for the vast majority of those that's happened in the past, that may have happened. And then later on, as they got older, what happened? They died. Now, the reason I say that, he's saying ultimately what God is saying is you can trust in all these things all you want to, but none of those things are going to save you. these people that you're trusting in, these sorcerers and psychics and stargazers, all these that you're trusting in so much, old Babylon, you're trusting in them. And I'm telling you, they're going to die right beside you. And see, here's the thing, our society and our nation, our world needs to understand today that you can look to all these other places for power. This is ultimately the message he was giving Israel. You can look to all these other places for power, but you're not going to find anything that's going to save you. You're not going to find anyone that's going to save you except for God himself. We don't need to trust in somebody who can make an educated guess based on what happened in the past. No, we need a God. We need to trust in the God who is, and who was, and who is to come, the God who has given us all that we already need. He's the one, as we've talked about, that he's already told them. He says, I've told you things before they happened. And I made sure that I made sure that I told you long before they happened, so you couldn't even claim to have thought of it first. It's what you're going to see this week, even as you read through these chapters. Today, I don't know what you may be tempted to trust in. It may not be a horoscope, but it may be that you're trusting in other people. You may be trusting in other people's experiences, things that have happened in their life. And it may be, you may be trusting in earthly wisdom of some sort. But just the same, not a one of those will save you. May help you in the moment, but not a one of those will save you. The only one who will save you is Jesus Christ. Will you trust him today? If you're going to have a consultation with anybody, let's have a consultation with the Master today. God bless you, and I pray you have a great, great day.